That's what I educate and coach the primary caregivers and their families, or the professionals who are caring for your loved one, or the resident assistants, how they can interact at a different level to really impact the care that's provided. When Dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, just like most families, we kind of stuck our head in the sand and didn't quite believe it, denied it. My parents were snowbirds. The last couple of years, they had gone to Bandera, Texas. When I went down to visit them over the holiday, it was dramatically different. 2 months, within a 2-month time frame, this was not my father anymore. He had always told me stories, all long stories, the same stories over and over, from the Navy, from his work at Ford Motor Company. He was an engineer. And he struggled one night at the kitchen table. He was struggling to tell me these stories. When he stopped, and he had this tear starting to come down his cheek, and he said, "I'm telling you before I forget." John Herreras, he made walking sticks. My father had asked John to make a walking stick for him, and John said, "No, but I'll help you make yours." He took my dad under his wing and coached my dad to help him. He maintained his dignity by giving him a purpose and friendship, and he gave him a reason. I came back from that trip, and I was looking for how I could fix things. How could I make this better? What could I do to change what was going to happen? I didn't find hope because I was looking in the wrong way. That's when I decided I need to know what is my greatest fear. And that's when I realized I was afraid he would forget me, and I couldn't live that way. So I said, well, all right, if I can't control that, what do I want? I want him to always know that I love him and that he loves me. He may not remember my name, but he will always remember that we love each other. And that changed every interaction that I had with my dad. The toughest thing, though, was my mother really believed that she was rapidly losing her husband. And all of her hopes and dreams about the future and their retirement together was crashing down. This was not the same man. What it means to be in the present is being free. The way most people think of a problem, it sets up a tension. They're not present. They're pulling and they're stuck. And what happens is that they are looking at the past and wishing things had been different, better, or more. And that's pulling. Or they're looking into the future and they have these lost hopes, dreams, and expectations. This is grief. Being present isn't pulling on either the past or the future. It is pulling it together, and you were free. I was free, and everybody else was stuck. The biggest thing was I worked with my emotions and his emotions, because those don't leave. Those emotions stay. And so you have to build on what it is that you want to keep creating more of. And so I stayed with joy. I stayed with love. And so that would take the form of fun. That was the easiest way, whether that was skipping on our walks. When I had to get Dad to shave, there's something very scary about the first time that you go in with your dad as a girl and watch him shave, because I've never seen that before. He didn't know what the razor was. Right, so I took the shaving cream and put it on my face, and then I put it in his hand, and he's looking in the mirror. We're looking in the mirror together, and he puts it on his face. And I pick up a razor that did not have a blade in it and went like this, and we're looking at each other now, and he picks his hand up and he goes like this. He looks back in the mirror, and then he's on automatic mode, what he had done his entire life. Well, there's one time when I came in, and the first thing I heard from my mom was, "Can you get your dad to take his meds? Because no one can do it. We've been fighting with him, and he will not take his meds." My dad enjoyed shots. They were a celebration to him. He wasn't so much of a drinker, but he was a celebrator. So I sat him down at the table and got a couple of shot glasses, and I poured him some cranberry juice, and I poured me some cranberry juice. And he's smiling, and so I take my cup of pills. He picks up his cup of pills, and I said, "All right." And he took his down and said, "Here's to you, Dad." And they went down. A year and a half later, I gave Dad his Christmas present. And so I didn't know what to give him, so I gave him this little snow globe. And he took it, and he looked at it, and he studied it. And my heart was breaking, because I thought, he doesn't know what a snow globe is. But he turned it over and did this. I was going, oh my God, my dad does not understand. And then I realized, this is liquid, this is red. He remembered our toasting that's what he was toasting to me. That was a memory that was built a year and a half ago. So one of the routines when my dad was moved into a memory care facility, I brought in music, and the CD that I just grabbed was Nat King Cole CD, and just put it on background music while I was visiting him. I started to slow dance with my dad. We didn't get to do it very often, but when we did dance, it was always a very strong connection. And so I thought, I'm going to dance with my dad while this nice music is on. And then as I'm dancing with him, Nat King Cole, Unforgettable, comes on. And I realized, wow, Dad's greatest fear was that he was going to forget. My greatest fear was that he was going to forget me. And then this song comes on while I'm dancing with him. And so I started singing into his ear, Unforgettable. That's what you are. Unforgettable. From near or far. That's what, darling, it's incredible. That's someone so unforgettable. Thinks that I am unforgettable too. There couldn't have been a more perfect song that spoke to overcoming our greatest fears and providing us a connection. When he heard that song, he changed, he came back, we connected. But Mom didn't believe me. I finally convinced her that she was going to come with me and she was going to follow every bit of the routine that I always did. And she said, well, I can't walk with you guys. I said, you can push the wheelchair. And so we continued with all of our other patterns, including when we went back to the room and I started playing Nat King Cole. Mom's sitting across from us. I'm sitting next to Dad, just holding his hand, and Unforgettable comes on. And Dad's looking at me, and I look back, take his chin, and pointed him towards Mom. He was fixated on her, just like he was fixated when he was looking at a picture. And Mom knew they were connecting. She felt it. Because by that time, Dad hadn't spoken in over a month. I hadn't heard anything from him. I certainly hadn't heard my name in over a year. But that night, after Mom and I were done with our visit, I said goodbye to Dad. I'm walking down the hall and turned the corner, so I wasn't even in sight. And I hear, "Beth!" It's like, whoa. And I look at my mom, I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "Yeah." And I went back, and my dad has got his arm stretched out and pulls me in. And I knew that he was saying goodbye. And I knew he was saying thank you. And it wasn't just thank you for our time. It was thank you for connecting his wife. And that was the last time that I saw him, but I knew I was successful. He died a week later, and he knew that I loved him, and he loved me, and he wasn't forgotten, and he was respected. And it's something that every family should be able to experience. They should. I believe it. And it all started by where do you place your focus? Because if you change your focus, you can change your reality. I changed my reality. Same father, same family, but my reality was different because I placed my focus someplace else. When I changed the focus with my dad, I decided that I was going to relate to my father, not his disease. That I was going to create moments of joy, not be pulled into drama. That I was going to hope that our love was going to continue. And I knew if I could do that, that I could cope with anything that was thrown at me. Why I do is because I want to inspire people to live a life of purpose and peace, no matter what challenges they face. How I do that is by challenging how they think and what their defaults are. What I'm really passionate about is working with a family. It's relate, create, hope, and cope. And it all begins with where you place your focus. And with that, that's what I educate and coach the primary caregivers and their families, or the professionals who are caring for your loved one, or the resident assistants, how they can interact at a different level to really impact the care that's provided. If you're facing those challenges and you're stuck, it hurts, not sure where to go, what direction, just give me a call. We'll talk it out, get you started.